Greetings, mortals. Welcome to another session of the Infernal Court in Musical Hell. I'm Diva, your... I'm sorry, but this is going to be too much fun. When you watch a lot of terrible movies, you quickly realize that not all bad movies are created equal. You have your big-budget disasters, your low-budget embarrassments, the movies that might have been good but something went wrong along the way, and so forth. And then there's, if you'll pardon the expression, the holy grail of bad movies. A film so marvelously ridiculous and inept that it manages to loop all the way past awful and become wonderful again. Such a movie is The Apple. Born from the ashes of an epic Hebrew musical about the cosmic battle between good and evil, believe me, this entire case will go a lot faster if you just assume the phrase "I'm not kidding" is added on to everything I say. The Apple premiered in 1980, which, as we've seen, was a notable year for ludicrous, overblown disco musicals. You thought those movies were bad?
You ain't heard nothing yet.
Yes, not even the sights of Do the Shake or Gene Kelly on roller skates can prepare you for the sheer over-the-top magnificence in this blend of entertainment industry satire, biblical allegory, and pure, unadulterated weird. But why talk about it when we can experience it? Let's examine the case of The Apple. Set in the far-off dystopian future of 1994, the movie opens during the World Vision Song Contest. Currently, the stage is held by the duo of Pandy and Dandy, who are the darlings of Boogaloo International Music, or BIM, and who use their stage time to sing an anthem to their employer's glory. It's so cute how this movie thinks disco will be the prevailing music trend 14 years into the future. I see the master has come out of the closet. This is Mr. Boogaloo himself, who between his name and his beard might as well be holding up a sign that says, "Prince of Darkness and Father of Lies, right here, people." Look, for the record, the boss doesn't go around announcing his presence by sporting a goatee or using symbolic pseudonyms like Mr. Scratch or John Milton. Also, he wouldn't be caught dead wearing that outfit. The screaming, grating song is a hit with the audience, which just confirms that demonic influence is involved.
Boss, we have just scored 150 heartbeats.
Oh, come back, Ruby Rod. All is forgiven. Sin number 1, the acting. It's pretty terrible across the board, but the villains are notable offenders, though the script certainly isn't doing them any favors.
Something like BIM T-shirts.
T-shirts? Ashley, use your imagination. This is 1994.
And now, here they are, singing their song, Love, the Universal Melody, Alphie and Bibi.
And here come the clean-cut kids who will be sucked into a world of decadence and corruption right on schedule. Sweetheart singers Alphie and Bibi do a song that the Osmonds would have rejected as not edgy enough, and apparently win over the hostile crowd. Though, honestly, I think they're too bored to even boo them.
Who the hell are they?
They're nobodies, I swear. They're just a couple of kids from Moose Jaw.
Moose where?
I think it's in Canada.
Oh, they're Canadian. That explains a lot. They're also sin number 2. The best way to describe Bibi is, well...
Stupid! Stupid!
She spends most of the movie being led along by one character or another and displays very little personality. There's also the symbolic implications of her role, but that's the next sin on the list, so let's move on to Alphie, who proves that 1980 disco musicals went 3 for 3 on smug, irritating protagonists.
Bibi, I don't want to go there. I don't even like the guy.
It's just a party. I promised we would go.
Come on, let's just go home.
Even though Alphie is clearly more perceptive than Bibi, which isn't saying much because a severely distracted cavefish is more perceptive than Bibi, he's still more annoying because of his self-righteous, snitty attitude. Robin Williams was right. If this is the kind of person they're letting into heaven, you're better off not going there. But right now, Alphie and Bibi are headed in the other direction, as they were apparently offered a recording contract by Mr. Boogaloo off-screen. Yeah, that's not information the audience needs to know or anything. and they're headed to his decadent orgy party where Mr. Boogaloo is introducing the latest fashion trend.
Our marketing genius, Ashley, has invented a beautiful beam mark. We are all going to wear it from now on.
That headache you now have is the result of being bludgeoned by sin number 3, the heavy-handed religious symbolism. This stuff makes your average chick tract look subtle. First we have the BIM marks, which are these tacky stickers meant to resemble the mark of the beast. At least this movie isn't ranting on about barcodes or RFID chips. Then we have Alphie and Bibi standing in for Adam and Eve, particularly Bibi as the easily led into temptation, root of all evil woman. Haven't I heard this tune already? Here's an idea. Why not have the male half of the pair be the one who gets seduced by empty promises of fame and glory, and the woman is the sensible, virtuous one who maintains her integrity? Nah, that would be crazy. Just in case you didn't make the connection, there's a scene where Dandy leads Bibi up to a garden penthouse and seduces her with one of the most hilariously campy songs I've ever seen.
You're made for me, created for me, and I am your king. You're made for me.
But the subtlety goes from 2x4 to 12-ton weight when Alphie and Bibi go to the BIM offices to sign their contracts, mwahahaha, and Alphie keeps getting distracted by visions of earthquakes and darkness and this.
Magic apple, mystery apple, take a little ride, let me be your guide through the apple paradise.
I take it back. This is the most hilariously campy song I've ever seen.
Holy apple, sacred apple, take a little chance, get into a trance, and join me in the apple.
Okay, dial it back. She already wants that symbolic apple so badly she's falling over you trying to grab it. I don't think the big production number is necessary. Somebody really needs to teach you people the art of the soft sell. Fun fact, the choreographer on this film was none other than Nigel Lythgoe, the reality television producer who introduced the world to American Idol and So You Think You Can Dance. Now that's evil. The production number freakout causes Alphie to reject the offer on his immortal soul, but Bibi is talked into staying, which isn't that difficult really, and after her evil makeover, she's making her debut as BIM's next big thing by singing a patriotic anthem about drug abuse.
America, the land of the free, is shooting up with pure energy, and every day she has to take more speed.
Look, it's satire or something. An indeterminate amount of time later, Alphie is down on his luck and living in the care of a gratuitously Jewish landlady.
I knew that had to be a hard enough big bosom of yours.
Will you stop that? Go away! Go away!
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen, groping old ladies for shits and giggles. Alphie is still trying to sell his crappy music, but he's not having any luck because it doesn't fit in with BIM's style of crappy music. And since they pretty much run everything, yeah, apparently that happened at some point, because now there's a law that says everybody has to wear the BIM marks and they have to stop what they're doing every day and participate in a big song and dance number. I'm not complaining or anything, but I always thought our reign on Earth would look a bit less like Mayhem of the Music Meister. As you may have guessed, the gaps in the plot are sin number 4. If everything that's happened so far hasn't been enough to convince you that this movie is the result of massive quantities of mind-altering substances, the random shifts in the narrative should do the trick. Things happen without any setup, explanation, or logic. One moment, Bibi is enjoying her status as the biggest star in the world.
The king is dead. God save the queen.
And the next, she's disillusioned with the whole thing and bemoaning her loss of innocence in her gilded cage.
Cry for me, if there really are angels to hear. Cry for me.
Meanwhile, one moment Alphie is staggering about feeling sorry for himself because his attempts to contact Bibi have resulted in getting roughed up by Mr. Boogaloo's goons.
Can you hear me now? They got me with my back against the wall. There's no place left to turn.
And the next gratuitously Jewish landlady is nursing him back to health because,
You want to kill yourself? Do me a favor. Jump off a bridge. Don't do it in my house. I don't want to spend the rest of my life explaining to the police that I didn't murder you for the rent.
That's right. The leading male character was in so much despair that he tried to end his life, and the movie completely glossed over the fact. Come on, this is stuff we actually need to see happen, especially since I want to entertain the notion of Alfie coming to harm. While dealing with the after effects of Alfie's off-screen suicide attempt, GJL gives him some helpful advice.
Did it ever cross your feeble brain that maybe she's waiting for you to call her? Huh? Like the guys used to in the old days?
I can't. They won't let me talk to her.
So get your ass out of bed and go find her.
Yeah, that's a great plan. Alfie's just going to walk into the inner sanctum of the world's most powerful entity, who of course will let him walk in even though they kicked him to the curb less than 10 minutes ago, and he'll march right up to Mr. Boogaloo and demand Bibi be released from her contract. Even this movie isn't ridiculous enough to—
I want you to release Bibi from her contract.
Obviously, this gets Alfie nowhere, as Pandy slips him a Mickey and date rapes him with a tastefully understated song about how you know better than that.
I'm coming for you. Feel me coming. I'm coming for you.
Extra credit question. Which is more unintentionally hilarious, Beneath a Moonless Sky or Coming? Be sure to show your work in the space below. Somewhere in his drug-induced haze, Alfie stumbles on Bibi and Dandy in bed together, or thinks he does. Honestly, I don't think the movie even knows for sure. And in his futile agony, well, I have no idea, because in the very next scene, he's waking up in the middle of a park being cared for by Gandalf Garcia?
Who are you people?
These are refugees from the 60s, commonly known as hippies.
Yes, hippies! Because what better antidote can there be for a dated cultural trend than an even more dated cultural trend? Meanwhile, Pandy has a change of heart because— what, you think there's actually a reason? You really haven't been paying attention, have you? Anyway, she convinces Bibi to get out and go look for her true love. Right, like the villains are just going to let her walk right out of—
Bulldog, let her go.
You guys give the minions of hell a bad name, and coming from me, that's saying something. Alfie and Bibi are reunited, they live happily for a year and have a kid, although we never actually see any of that because the movie skips ahead to the day when the forces of BIM descend upon the hippie commune.
I hope it's worth the noise.
Mr. Boogaloo claims Bibi owes him $10 million because— something contract? I don't know, I guess he just figures, hey, I'm running the world now, I'll make up whatever rules I want. So the hippies all get arrested, there's absolutely no way out of this, and nothing can save them from the forces of Lilith's tits!
Who the hell are you? They call me Mr. Tops.
Yes, the opposition, here a snazzy maitre d' named Mr. Tops, comes down from the skies in a shiny car and raptures Alfie and Bibi and Pandy and all the hippies up to take them to a new creation free from the influence of evil. That's about as literal a deus ex machina as you can make, really. And yes, this is consistent with the biblical apocalypse, or at least certain overly literal interpretations of it, but there is no setup for this. None. Zero. I suppose you could argue that the existence of a supreme evil must indicate the supreme good to go along with it, but Mr. Tops isn't even mentioned until half a minute before he appears.
It's gonna be all right. I know he's gonna come.
Who's coming?
Mr. Tops.
Who's Mr. Tops?
Don't worry, just trust me. I know he's coming.
Why does Alfie know this? Who told him Mr. Tops was coming? Why is he calling him Mr. Tops instead of one of the more common names for the guy? Why is Alphie and Bibi's kid a toddler when logically any child of their union would be at most 3 months old? What happened to gratuitously Jewish landlady? Does she get to go to the New Jerusalem with all the goyim, or is she just left behind because she wasn't lolling around in the grass with all the hippies? How exactly is this a defeat for the villains? I mean, they're pretty much still in charge of everything on Earth, so they got what they wanted, right? For that matter, what exactly was Mr. Boogalow's endgame? Get everybody wearing stickers on their heads and dancing to crappy music just because he could? And most importantly of all, why am I still insisting on trying to apply logic and narrative consistency to a movie that has obviously never heard of such concepts? The apple is terribly acted, nonsensical, heavy-handed when it isn't being maddeningly obscure, garish, outlandish, embarrassingly dated, and features some of the strangest, cheesiest music and dance sequences ever put to film, and I enjoyed every moment of it. Seriously, if you're a fan of schlock cinema, you simply must see this movie. In fact, I have only one real problem with it. Why is this not a midnight movie phenomenon on the level of the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I mean it. This movie begs for a theater full of rowdy fans to sing along and talk back to the screen. Mortals, get on this. I want Pandy and Dandy cosplay. I want shadowcasts dancing in gold Speedos and white nighties. I want giant novelty apples being tossed to and fro like beach balls at a concert. This movie deserves nothing less. As for punishments, well, I'm sure the boss is going to want to have a talk with Mr. Boogaloo about his fashion sense, but other than that, I really don't feel like punishing this movie. It's bad, certainly, but I got too much genuine entertainment out of it to condemn it. Yeah, that's right, I'm going to go easy on it. What are you going to do about it, huh? Oh, me and my big maw.